Catherine from Mad Paper Crush here. Welcome to 2024. And I apologize for the way my voice sounds today. I have been sick since the last day of 2023 all the way up until today, and it's been about a week. And so I apologize if I sound stuffy because I am. But today I'm finally feeling well enough to do a little plan with me. And I wanted this to be something simple, but still inspirational and creative. And I wanted to really show you that it doesn't have to be completely artistic. You know, you don't have to know how to draw, or you don't have to know every mixed media technique to do something in your journal that is inspiring, to do something in your planner that is inspiring. So I like to have a junk journal type planner, and I like it to be inspiring. It's not necessarily the most artistic or beautiful planner, but it works for me. And especially in times like this, when I know I'm going to run out of energy soon, I wanted to show you ways to get those weeks in there so that you have a place to write things down, to put your appointments in, to take notes on memories and things that have happened, to put your to-do list in and those kinds of things without it being too much of a stress. So I just wanted to kind of show you my January. I didn't even do like an opening page for this. I just needed to get something in there, and I just used a black pen in my junk journal. Now, this is, you know, obviously the back side of a piece of paper. It's completely blank. I did some snowflake doodles, which are really just lines and circles and dots. That's all it was for that. And then on this side of the page, I just put my week in very simply. So once again, I just used my pen. Now this page I had designed digitally and printed out for this journal. So it just appeared on this day, and I decided to use it for the first week of January. But you can see, because I'm using a junk journal, there's some graphics and things on here, which I love. I love to look at vintage paper and different things like that. So that inspires me. But I just got the days in there quick. I didn't even do it right, you know, because I've been delirious and those kinds of things. So you can see how you can make this very simple, but it's still functional and usable. I can go in here and I can get things written down that I need to do and things like that. So I wanted to show you my idea for getting the rest of the weeks of January done so that I can plan in this planner even while I know I'm not going to have the energy to do something really crazy. So let's go ahead and do this simple but inspiring planner. Okay, so to start with, I'm just going to turn the page here, and in my junk journal planner, this is my next spread that's available to me. That's what I'm going to be using for the next weeks of January. I have 3 weeks that I'd like to put in this journal, and I wanted to kind of show you what I was doing as my idea. So what I did was I went through my scrap drawer. So I have this drawer of scrap papers that, you know, any offcuts that I have and things like that, I just, you know, end up putting in here. And then what I did was, when I went through that, I looked for sort of coordinating or, you know, sort of matching colors, but maybe different patterns and things like that. And I wanted to do something that was light enough for me to write on. So with a black pen, you would still be able to see what was on here. So some of these pages that I have left over, you know, in my scrap stash, something like this is really busy and you probably wouldn't be able to see any writing on here. So I stayed away from real strong patterns or darker colors and things like that. I wanted to look for things, even though this one is kind of a dark color, but because it's bright and it contrasts so well with black, I thought this one would be perfect. But that's what I was kind of looking for. I was looking for colors that I could write on top of, patterns that were sort of subtle, maybe in the background, that I could use. And then once I picked out those papers, I just went through and tried to die cut them all with die cuts that were big enough to sort of hold a day for me. So I found this kind of stamp looking one and this sort of label frame looking one, and I thought I would use those. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to write on that one, but I just cut it out because it was part of the paper. So you can see here I have 2 different patterns, and I cut a bunch of different colors. So I have some browns and sort of leaning towards red on some of these, but once again, I tried to keep it light. I think I'll be able to write on these with it, you know, being able to see them. I had some blank cardstock around, some different browns. I did some sort of neutral colors, whites and beige, and even some like wood type textures and things like that, but these will be perfect for me to write on. I did some yellows. I did this one. I had one piece of orange, but I thought I'd cut that out because I think that would be a great contrast on my week. And then some blues and some greens. So I just went through and went crazy cutting as many pieces of these cutouts as I could, die cuts as I could. And if you're going to do this, I have a die cut that has several different sizes of the same shape. And what I did was for my journal, I kind of looked at, okay, what size is going to give me at least 3 days on one side of the page. So I had a die cut that's bigger than this one, but I would have had to have cut it down or something like that. Only 2 would have fit on this page. So that's why I chose the size that I did. So that was all the thinking I did. And once I had that, I knew what size I wanted to put on the page. I went through and made all these cuts. And you can see I did actually do one that was a little bit smaller, or some that were a little bit smaller, because I had some room left over on a page and I didn't want to waste it. So I did cut out some that were a little smaller, thinking maybe I could use them for something as well. So that's what I did. I have all those cuts, and I just wanted to show you, this was one of the scrap pieces that I had when it was full. And I went through and I die cut as much as I could out of this. So you can see I got one big one, but then I went back in with my 1/2 inch hole circle punch and punched out some more things. And you can see these over here. I punched a bunch of those too, so that I was really getting the most out of my scrap papers as I could. And these I'll probably be using for my little date stamp that I put on each day to help me know what day it is. But you certainly don't need to do that. But if you're using up scraps, you might as well use as much as you can when you're doing it. All right, so let me show you how we're going to put this together. All right. Step 1 for my first week is just to pull out some of the die cuts that I want to use. So for me, I think I want to keep the shapes similar for per each week. So like for this week, I think I'm going to use the stamp ones. So I'm going to pull out 6 of them that I like. And this is just 4. And what I was hoping to do as well is pick out some contrasting ones. So for example, maybe we'll do, since these are kind of different greens, I can do 3 days on this side. And I like to start my planner weeks on a Monday. So this will be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then on this side, I will do Thursday, Friday, and the weekend. So let's see. I don't want to put another brown one in the middle, but I do want to maybe stick with something brownish to kind of match, but it's not totally similar. So I think I like this layout. See, simple, and look how pretty that is. Like, I think it's such an easy way to get started, get that plan into place if you want to get going with your plan. So the other thing you could do is you could, line them up a little off center if you wanted to, and maybe I will do that. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Or maybe even I'll just kind of keep them towards the inside, towards the ring, or maybe even towards the outside. Since I'm lefty, it would be hard for me to write, too close to that ring there. But maybe what I'll do is I will put them on, and I don't want to cover up my number here. So I'll put them close to the outside. I don't know. This could all change in just a minute. Who knows? All right. So that's all I'm going to do for 1 week. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out some of my little 1/2 inch dots here to be my days so that I can write down the date and everything. And so I'm going to use some matching colors, and I'm going to use the matching colors on the days that are different than my other greens. And since this is going to be 2 days, so I like to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then this one block will actually be the weekend. So this will be Saturday and Sunday here. So I think I'm going to need to put 2 dots, and we can use different colors if we want to. And this could maybe even go on top a little bit if I wanted to. It certainly does not have to be perfect. Okay, and then I want to pick out some dots for the other one. So I can use some brown maybe. I don't know, I might even have to go pick out some more dots here. Let's see. Let's start with some brown. Let's just go and do some browns. And this one didn't punch great. Kind of got a little nick out of that one, but that's okay. Okay, so I love the way this is looking, and I love the sort of mix of colors, but it's still sort of matching. So that's all I'm going to do for each of the weeks. And then I'm going to enter in the days and the date so that I have that ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing 2 more times because I have 3 weeks of January that I want to get into my planner and ready to go. And I'm just going to sort of speed up the rest for you or show you a little bit of the rest. And then I'm not going to, you don't have to watch me glue everything down, but I'll show you kind of how I'm putting it together for the rest of the weeks so that you can see that. And then we'll come back at the end and just chat about what we did. All right, so now if I go back to my beginning of January, which was really plain and simple, but now I have some fun weeks coming up with some bright colors and some fun patterns. And I've decided to do just half of the week here because this was the last 3 days of January. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm just going to use a pen here. This is just a black pen to put in all my dates and days. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be extravagant. I usually, if I use circles for the dates, I like to put the days like above them. So for example, since I like to start mine on Monday, I'll just put MON like that. And then I'll put my date in the circle. So I'm just going to go through the whole thing and I might, change it up a little bit. You could even, so maybe on this week, what I'll do is I will put the date and the day inside and maybe I'll just add some fun little dots around the outside of each of the date circles, because that's something that'll add interest. You could add lines, you could add little humps, you could add any kind of little doodles you want to just add some more interest to your page. So I'm going to go through that, and this I will kind of let you just watch as I do it. But because, I'm going to be writing, I'll just speed it up a little so that you can kind of get an idea of how I'm going to finish off my weeks here. So I'm just using a Tombow brush pen here. Obviously, I'm not writing in calligraphy, but I like that it gives me a little bit of a thick line. So I'm using that to write the numbers in. And I'm not being very fancy with my numbers either. I was just writing them out. So I think that you can kind of see what I was going for here, that you can have something that's still inspiring and artistic without going crazy. So for this one, for this week, I decided to put just the first initial of the day in the circle. And of course, before I put dates in, I try to always go back and make sure I'm putting in the right date, because I will get it wrong. It's just pretty much a given. So I think I did okay with that one. And then this one, I was just trying to decide, okay, what should I do with this one? And I'm just putting really large numbers in this one. And this is on that little bit of a reddish brown color in those dots. But I like the way that it turned out. And I just decided that I would put, once again, the first 3 letters of the day underneath the dots so that I don't get confused on what day of the week it is. Although since I pretty much always have them in the same place, I probably don't even really need to worry about that. And then for my last one, I decided to just add some lines, just to make it look a little bit different. So these kind of white stars are going to end up looking, or the white circles are going to end up looking like stars with kind of the lines that I've put in. So once again, just adding some lines really adds some interest to your weekly planner page there. All right, all done. So this was a simple way to come up with your weekly pages for your planner without too much effort. It still looks great. It's still functional and fun to use. So I hope you enjoyed planning with me today. And if you did, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. I hope to be doing more of these this year. And I've got some other paper projects in the works as well. Thanks so much for watching, friends. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Be well. Bye-bye.